Orange episode 3. We get some feels. In this episode. Toward the end. Toward the end, we get those feels. So, I was kind of debating earlier how I thought this series was going to go. Now, we know that Naho is trying to change her regrets. Okay? And we've already seen that some of them, her younger self hasn't really been able to do. But we find out in last week's episode that Naho is like gun-ho. She wants to do this. She wants to save Kakeru. She wants to do it. So some interesting things happen in this episode. One being that unlike Naho past self, unlike Naho's future self, she wasn't making those lunches for Kakeru. Like, she wasn't making those lunches for him and, making him like happy doing that. It's so weird calling her like her future self and then like her past. It's just so weird because I'm starting to confuse myself. Her past self is making those lunches, and it seems as though that in and of itself is changing things. Now, I was wondering if this was actually going to happen, if things were actually going to change in accordance with that letter. And we find out that some things are changing. One of those things being, like I said, Naho's making those lunches for Kakeru. We also find out, and I knew this, that Naho likes him. She does. Now, one of my big questions is, her future self obviously just wants to, right the wrongs and, change some things because she feels a lot of regrets. But is she happy with Suha in her future self? Is she happy with him because she had to have known that she had feelings for Kakeru? And also, if her past self were able to keep him alive, then would they become a thing? We find out in this episode that someone else likes Kakeru and they end up dating. Naho was just a tad bit slow on her response, in which Kakeru asked her, do you think it's okay if I date her? And obviously Naho didn't want that, but she was a tad bit late in that response. Even after reading the letter saying that, look at this, I wish I would have known, tad bit late. So that didn't change. But leading up to that, we find out that on May 1st, Kakeru, doesn't end up joining the soccer club. That Naho's future self tells her past self to make him join that soccer club, even if you have to force him. Even if you have to force him, make him join that soccer club. Come to find out, Suha already convinced Kakeru to join the soccer club, so Naho didn't have to do that. So that's one of the things that has changed, based on the fact that she's actually she's changing some regrets. Like, so she is changing the future. She is, and that's one of the things that we find out in this episode that is transpired on its own without her doing anything. Now, what happens to Kakeru now dating this chick? Who knows? We don't even know how it ended, with Naho's future self. But we know that Naho has feelings for Kakeru. She does. She has feelings. Suha sees that. He sees it. We all know that, they end up getting together and getting married in the future. But if Kakeru is actually alive, I feel like that changes things. Now, here's the big thing. The big thing is at the end, when they're reading the notes that they made, that what they wanted to do in 10 years. And they read, Kakeru's. Pretty much, he didn't say anything about himself. It was all about, those guys, like his friends, their group. It was all about them. And he didn't say anything about himself. So right then and there, when he didn't say anything about himself, my first reaction was he knew he wasn't going to be there. he knew he was going to die. Now, it was stated that his death was an accident. Now we find out, and we could be wrong. It's just speculation. We could be wrong, but it wasn't an accident. He meant to do it. So something happened, something transpired to cause this event. Now, what it is, we don't know. Is Naho going to be able to change that? We don't know. What we do know is that her actually listening to that letter and changing some things does alter the course in which what the letter says. We know that. That was apparent in this episode. So I'm interested to see, is she actually going to continue to have to do everything in that letter? If she does some things and then everything else just kind of falls into place, which it seems to be kind of like some things are happening and some things aren't happening because of the fact that she's changing, her past self is changing some of the things her future self didn't do. So, a good episode. A really good episode. And the end with the crying was a nice touch. Yeah. Really, really, really good episode. So now we know that she can change the future. Now, here's another thing. Naho, before the events of her being saddened that Kakeru was actually dating someone, she was all uppity and, kind of just like full of hope and stuff that she can change the future. And she said pretty easily. That line there made me think, okay, maybe she won't be able to change it so easily because she thinks that it's easy. And when in reality, it's kind of not, because she's also breaking out of her barrier of doing things, whether it be emotionally or physically, things that she didn't do in her future self. So this is also a character development for her in doing things that she wouldn't normally do. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. This episode was good. It was good. And what I like about this series is that each episode gets better. Each episode gets better. It's not always the same thing, which is good. I was interested to see how they were going to do this. And we got confirmation that there's only going to be 13 episodes, I think. I think there's only going to be 13 episodes. I don't know about a season 2. So we'll have to see how this plays out, because Naho only has that letter to see what's going on. And it's all about Kakeru, because that's who they want to save. We also find out, and this is also important, that their older selves are saying that they're going to go to Kakeru's house and celebrate his birthday that they didn't get a chance to do 10 years ago. So it had to be, this incident had to occur with his death sometime around his birthday, if not on his birthday. So once you start seeing his birthday coming up, then we know that, things are gonna get, a little more serious. That, the time is drawing near. But let me know what you guys think. I kind of went a little bit too long with this one, but there was just a lot of things that I wanted to talk about. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Good episode. Excited to see where this is going to go. Hopefully they execute this right, and to the point where you do actually get those feels, and just, kind of just keep us on our toes. But that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, Sparrow signing off. Have a good one, guys.